So this is variability and how we manage options and choices in system models. So, as we all know, products are becoming more and more complex. We have different regulations for different markets, countries, and regions. Customer expectations, but now more options and personalization. To handle this, we need to reuse our designs. Otherwise, it's too complex. We have too many products and it's not efficient. So this is essential because of the intense market pressures on product development and pressure on development times. We can't design a new product all the time. We have to iterate existing products wherever we can, build upon the work we've already done. So all of our customers want to reuse their designs. Another of our customers is Volvo Construction, and this is an example of the different products they provide. Construction equipment, and Komatsu in Japan will have similar high-level products. So maybe they have 50 products, and each one of these will have many options as part of them. So we have a huge number of different designs. Modeler provides a really nice way of managing variability. The basic principle is that we define an overloaded 150% model. This is a design that includes all of the options. And then we use variant selection to choose those options. In this case, we have no gasoline engine. We've removed the petrol, we'll use the diesel. And then we capture that result. So we remove bits from the 150% model. Maybe we only remove 10%, and then later on we'll remove a bit more and create a new configuration. So I'll go through and demonstrate this in a second. It looks like this. We model it. So we model this variability. We have a variation point, which is really the question we ask. What do you want? And then we have variants, which are the options. You can choose a regular load or a large load. This variant satisfies the requirement for a large load. So this is the variability logic. Simple example. Then we map that logic and these variants to the model. So if the user chooses regular, then we'll include this in the model. But because we've not chosen large, these elements will be removed from the model. So remember, we start with an overloaded 150% model. Then we make some choices and it removes things. So we're only left with the design elements we want. And we can apply this to anything in the model. So we can apply it to requirements, use cases, blocks, which gives us a really powerful way of managing variability. We can build up chains and hierarchies. So if we have an option for fuel type, if we choose gas, then we have gas tank volume, and we can choose these variants. If we have diesel, we have 4 different options. All of these choices can be seen in a decision set. Decision set item captures these selections. So they capture what choices you've made, and you can go and modify them. An end user's perspective, or really more of maybe a sales product manager view, we have this web-based tool called the variant selector. So this is a nicer tool than the one that's inside Modeler. And it helps guide you a little better through the choices. So we'll do that in a second. You make the choices, and then you capture that. What you actually do here is create another model. So we create a configuration that's a model with just the things that are left behind. And when you go and look at that model, you'll see that the diagrams and the elements have had items removed. So only the relevant gas tank has been selected, the right length. So some chassis has been removed. And it creates a new product model. So back to our versioning, when we create a new product model, it's kind of like creating a new branch. It was generated from this model, it's removed some things, and now it's captured it in its own model version. So let's demo that, I think. Right. To Modeler. Okay, so this model doesn't have any variability at the moment. It has some that I've not really done much with. So let me add a new variant diagram. Delete that just in case it causes a problem. Okay, so I'm going to put in alternative choice, put in a couple of variants. So I'm putting an optional dependency. Okay, okay, so now let me go and change my design slightly. So if I go to our subsystem. So at the moment, this is using an internal combustion engine and an electrical motor. So let's say we want a new type of option here. I'll say, let's put in a diesel engine. Make this connected. Okay, so now we've got a new type of thing in our design. We've got a diesel engine. So we can choose, really. We've got 3 types of power. Now, I'm going to say that we must have the electrical motor engine. So it's a hybrid, so we've got to keep that. So the choice is going to be the traditional petrol engine or a diesel engine. If I go back to my variant, I can then say, call this petrol. Diesel. We've probably done a better example here, but never mind. So now I'm looking for my internal combustion engine. Drag and drop that item onto here. Here's my diesel engine, so I'll drag that onto there. And then create a dependency. That, so that. So I've put in some really basic variability logic. We've now given the option to make some choices. I should call this something. Type. We've now got the ability to make some options. If we choose petrol, this block will be kept in the model and this one will be removed. If we choose diesel, then this is kept in the model and this gets removed. Let's go and have a look at that in the variant selector. So I'm going to create a new decision set, and this will keep our choices. So we only have one question. We only have one variation point in the model. Otherwise, they'd be listed here. So let me choose engine type. And we can choose diesel or petrol. So if I choose petrol, diesel gets excluded because we have this optional dependency. We can only have one. So I've chosen that one, which means this is excluded. So I'm now ready to capture this. Create the product model, which is the configuration. So it's created a new model, DC1 variant of HSUV model. If I close that down, I can then go and open that. So there's version 1, which has been locked. Here is the variant model I've just created. And if I open this, then we should see that that diesel block doesn't exist. So we only have that left. If I go to the structure location, we look here, the diesel engine block has been removed. The internal combustion engine remains. If I go to the main diagram, diesel engine's gone from there. So it's been completely removed from the model and all diagrams. And that's just a simple demonstration of adding optionality and using it to prune the contents of the model. We just new version of that one, open up version 2. So now we're back to the 150% model. There's our diesel engine. So we're back to having everything in there. And we should see the variability diagram again. So typically what we'd do is we'd use this for requirements as well as blocks. So let's say we have go with fuel economy requirements. So we can bring these into the variant diagram and create that artifact dependency with these as well. So again, the same principle would happen when we make a choice. If we choose petrol, this requirement is removed. This block is removed from the model. So maybe we'd have, certain types of use cases that relate to diesel. We possibly have some software. So let's say diesel management software. So we'd have something like this, where the one choice can then control removal of all of the artifacts that are related. Alternatively, you could just link it all to a package, and everything in the package gets removed. So it's very powerful and very flexible, and is a really strong selling point for Modeler. Okay, we have more advanced capabilities. We can configure the variation points to make them mandatory or not. Some other options for ordering and whether it's a parent or not. Okay, I've done a demo. We can filter the variation points on maturity. So we can have some of those options visible and some of them hidden. It's quite nice. We can order them. So we present them in a logical order. That makes the choices easier. We can output a report. So it tells us exactly what has been included or excluded or hasn't been decided. We can enable or disable variability altogether. We can use variable parameters. So maybe we have an attribute for the length of a chassis, the number of axles, or anything where there's a parameter option. So here we can see that the variant is a length. It's actually a parameter. And then when we make the choice, we can choose the value. So we can give the option for the users to choose 1 or 2 or 3, or type in a value. So here we see examples of that. Type in the number of axles, the chassis length. We can pass parameters from this variability choice onto the model. And we can then pass them into the design. So here we have an attribute length on the chassis that can be picked up from the choices made by the user. We can also apply some validation scripts for additional logic on top of the model.